Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I'm going to do my August wrap-up. I read 9 books in August, miraculously. So we're going to start with the ones that I don't have physically at all. The first one is Taken by the Duke by Jess Michaels. This is a romance. I read it on my Kindle. It's a really quick book. It's fun. I gave it a 4 stars because it did exactly what I wanted it to do as a romance book. And I enjoyed watching the relationship between them. The next one is The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. I did read this one physically, but it is my cousin Erica's book because if you watch my August TBR, cousin pick came up on my wheel. So I needed her, one of them, and she's the first one who came, to tell me a book to read. It was a book that she had bought a while ago, and she had me read it first to see how it was. I gave it a 3 stars. It was a good book. It felt like it was superficial in many ways. There was nothing technically wrong with it. It was a competent book. It was good. It was enjoyable. It was a fast read. It just wasn't anything that will really stick with me for a while. The next one is The Little Old Lady Who Broke All the Rules by Katarina Engelman Sundberg. It is translated from Swedish. Whoops. And I read this one for my book club. I loved this one. I gave it a 4.5. It's about a 79-year-old woman who is living in what sounds like an independent living over in Stockholm, Sweden. Fiction. And when management changes, things go south pretty quickly. They don't get free coffee at any time. There's a curfew. They start getting drugged so that they don't eat as much, and stuff like that, which obviously is problematic on multiple levels. So she and her friends, all of them above 75 by the way, decide that they're going to make life better for themselves. They start out with a hotel robbery, and it ends up with an art robbery. And it's just the story of them going through this and trying to make life better for themselves. Most of my book club was less than thrilled with this book, as in 2 stars. They thought it was outrageous, ridiculous, and unrealistic in the most. Is it unrealistic? Yeah, probably. But I loved that element of it. I loved the fact that they took a bunch of pensioners and went, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have them rob the art museum. Because nobody thinks anything of old people. They just go, oh, they're so cute. It's like toddlers, right? They're very unassuming. So I loved it because it was just light and ridiculous and funny. There was one particular translation error, I think, or something that doesn't translate well to English. However, I understood that it was a joke and I understood why it was. It just wasn't translated well. Which honestly is not the worst thing. I give translators mad props because I can't. The reason I gave it 4.5 as opposed to a 5 stars is because it's not going to be life-changing for me. It doesn't change the way I see anything. It doesn't, change my mindset or whatever. It was just a fun, fluffy book. It is a great summer book, and I will definitely be continuing with the series. Alright, so that is all of the books that I read via ebook, or I just don't have a physical copy anymore. Next, we have The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck by Sarah Knight. This book is on loan to me from Courtney, my former health coach and longtime friend. Linked down below, go check her out. And this is basically about how to set boundaries and sort of reteach yourself what it is you actually care about or give a fuck about, so that you can start spending your time, your energy, your money on stuff that you care about. This was really helpful. I do intend to actually start making the lists. Don't get me wrong, I read it last month and I haven't made the list yet, but in my defense, the Minnesota Renaissance Fair started and I missed it last year, so by no means am I missing it this year. I also have a season pass, so that helps. But at some point I will make the list, the joy list and the give a fuck list, because I do think that's important and I think it will help me sort of figure out what it is that I'm spending my time, money, energy on that I don't actually enjoy. Because obviously I don't really want to do that. But yeah, this one, I think I gave it a 5 star because this one actually will and has already changed the way I think Then I definitely read my worst book of the month, which was Real Tigers by Mick Herron. This was so dull. It's supposed to be a spy thriller, right? MI5's fuck-ups, for lack of a better word at the moment, are sent to a place called Slough House. I think it's pronounced Slough. It's S-L-O-U-G-H. And all of a sudden, one of them gets kidnapped, and shit hits the fan, so the rest of people, the slow horses, or the people who are at Slough House, have to save them and figure out what's going on. A lot of politics. If you enjoy politics and really slow, dull, descriptive, but in a bad way, thrillers, this is all for you. I skimmed a solid 2/3 of this book, and nothing happened in any of it. None of it. There was nothing that was climactic about it. There was nothing that was actually interesting about this. I don't even remember who done it in this book. It was so dull. I was remarkably disappointed. I wanted this to be so good. I loved the title. I loved the premise. I loved the setting. It's just shit. So I gave this one 2 stars because the writing, in hindsight, it's definitely going down to 1. It is definitely going to be 1 star because this was an awful book. Then I read Patriot or Traitor by Anna Beer. This was a gift from one of my friends in Rochester for Christmas last year? I believe so. He knows I love Elizabeth, and that includes her courtiers and any component of Elizabethan life. So Patriot or Traitor is about Sir Walter Raleigh, who was a favorite of Elizabeth and then didn't get on so well with James I. Apparently Sir Walter Raleigh was not as smart as we are taught. It was fascinating. I love this one. I gave it a 4. It was very dense, so it went slower than other nonfictions. However, I loved Anna Beer's style of writing. She's very matter-of-fact. She doesn't apologize for colonialism or imperialism. She just calls it out. Which is important because Raleigh is kind of the start of English colonialism and imperialism with the lost colony of Roanoke. Like I said, I loved it. I loved learning more about Sir Walter Raleigh because I knew that he was imprisoned by James I after Elizabeth died. I knew that he was a favorite of Elizabeth. I knew that he didn't get on with Essex, one of her other favorites, after Leicester died. That kind of stuff, but I didn't know details. And this book went into the details, which I loved. I also read Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is the 3rd book in the Murderbot Diaries series, and I loved it. I think this one probably is my favorite so far. I definitely gave it a 4.5 stars. It gets into the Murderbot's brain more, and we have more adventures, and we're starting to get to the bottom of the whole mystery that started in the first book. It's so much fun, and you never think you're going to be attached to a robot, particularly one that is called Murderbot. But here we are. So thank you, Abby, very much for gifting the first 3 in this series to me, because I'm loving them. Gave that one a 4 star as well. And then I also read whatever the second book in this is. Binti Home? Please hold. Well, that doesn't help me. I think it's Binti Home. Because the last one is The Night Masquerade. Oh no, maybe the second one is Sacred Fire. No, that's Home. I'm not losing my mind. I read the second book in the Binti trilogy. It is a trilogy of African futurism novellas by Nydia Okorafor. In the first one, we follow Binti as she leaves Earth to go to a universal college. It's a very prestigious university. And stuff happens on the way there. Doesn't go well. I really enjoyed the second one a lot more than the first one, I think. The first one was really short and felt like it was maybe cut off. I still enjoyed it, but the second one I loved. I gave it a 4 stars again because Nydia Okorafor has a really good writing style. She's excellent in African futurism. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching Binti navigate home after what happened in the first book and the intervening short story. So, liked that one a lot. And the last book we're going to talk about, oh, if you can't tell from my face already. However, I finished this fucker. I finished it in about 3 weeks. I'm very proud of that. This is, God, another ridiculously long, bloody book. It is 1,117 pages of... I don't even know. I don't remember this book, and I read it less than a month ago. I spent over 1,000 pages reading about Claire, Jamie, Bree, and Roger, and I have no fucking clue what they did. It doesn't help me. These books are useless at this point. Read the first 3 and then call it quits. Do yourself a favor and burn them. And look, I won't burn books, but I don't even say it lightly because it makes me cringe. But these, if I am out in the middle of the woods and I need books to burn, you had better fucking bring me Outlander because I will happily burn this. Now that I'm done with that, like I said, I have no real memory of what happens in this, but Claire is perfect again and I hate her. Bree and Roger I enjoy, but I don't understand what's going on. There's way too much time traveling going on, and it doesn't make sense, and the rules are being fucked up left and right at this point. I had to look it up to make sure, like, what the devil was going on. So that was fun. There's just some really stupid plot points that didn't need to be there. I mean, it's 1,017 pages of plot points that didn't need to be there, but beside that, it just... I'm so sick of these characters. I'm so sick of it. Ian and Rollo were the saving grace, and that's not gonna help me much anymore. So that's fun. Quick spoiler, until I put my hand down. Rollo died. The dog dies in this book. So if you don't want to watch the dog die, it's a very peaceful death. The dog is like 20 years old at this point, but she could have killed off Claire and kept Rollo. She could have killed off any other character except for Ian, and I would have been so much happier than her killing off Rollo, but no, she killed off the damn dog instead. Fucking hell. Alright, rant over about the spoiler. So yeah, this I gave a 2-star because I am so over this series. Yeah, that's where I'm at with my books. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you read in August, because I'm always curious if you have any recommendations, if you've read these books, etc. You know the drill. And with that, I will sign off and see you in my next video. Bye.